Before I let go, y'all, I gotta do a whole video on that book. If you have not read this, read this book. Now, if you don't like books that are like open door, don't read this book. I'm just letting you know because there are some scenes. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. So today we're going to be going through all the 15 books that I read in June, which, to be honest, it doesn't seem like a lot when you're reading them, but when you get ready to do the videos as a monthly wrap-up, it's like, what was I thinking? And I'm literally just like, oh my gosh, like this is so many books to go through. So what I'm going to do for this particular video, I will not do this again next month. So for next month, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to do like a weekly wrap-ups because this is just way too many books to go through. No, it's not these, but y'all know we be batch making content, okay? But next month, I will definitely just be doing my book reviews all week long because, ooh, child, this video may be long, but I'm gonna try to make it under 40 minutes. So if you do not follow me on Goodreads, make sure you follow me on Goodreads because this is actually where you will see literally all my reviews for the month. I literally review every book that I read, even if I have to DNF it. If I DNF a book, it's automatically no rating. So basically I read 15 books. Some of them are advanced reader copies, so you will hear me refer to them as ARCs. And so some of them are out and some of them are not. And let's see. Some of these I did listen to audio and some was immersive reading, meaning I read both of them together because sometimes I love to hear like a narration of the book. Okay, so we're gonna actually start with the first one, which was The Scammer by Tiffany D. Jackson. That book was absolutely amazing. 4-star. Tiffany D. Jackson is a YA writer, so she's now literally on my list of authors, Black authors, to just, I'm just gonna buy her books. I don't even care what the synopsis is. I'm just gonna buy her books. So The Scammer actually comes out in October. I can link the actual date on the screen. So the summary of the book is Jordan just graduated from high school with her parents' hopes of attending Yale. However, Jordan has her own dreams of attending an HBCU with her late brother Kevin, whom everyone thinks committed suicide. However, Jordan has plans of her own while attending Fraser University. While there, Jordan experiences friendships, failed friendships, manipulation, and love all at the same time. So one of the things that I really loved about this book was that it teaches, even if it doesn't matter what age you are, this book was really great. I gave it 5 stars. It really teaches you to be aware of your friends, of your surroundings. And if you're not sure about something, you need to ask your parents. The only thing I hated about this book was that her parents were very set on themselves. They were very like indulged in themselves, that they just did not pay attention to her, which is also kind of why she was seeking her own guidance. And she ended up being manipulated and she ended up being scammed. And not only just her, but majority of her friends. So this book was so good. She really thought her roommates were who they say they were. And I really wish I could spoil the book for you, but her roommate ended up not being someone she could trust. And I mean, when I say this book was amazing, like I literally was like turning the page like, oh my gosh, I have to get to the next chapter because I'm literally like, why is this dude here? Like, why has no one from the school came to remove him from the premises? He's not even supposed to be here. So I mean, it was so amazing. And in the very end, I was actually shocked of the end. That's all I'm gonna say. All I'm gonna say, y'all go read it. That's all I can say. So then the next art that I requested was The Ghost of Gwendolin Montgomery. So the summary is Gwendolin Montgomery is New York's top publicist that appears to have it all until her first show is sabotaged. She then begins to experience mystical and supernatural situations after her first show was sabotaged. When her cousin Fonzie, a psychic, appears, Gwendolin begins to understand the secrets that ties her. So this, I actually listened to this on audio, and I requested the physical copy because some books, for some reason, y'all know, sometimes you have to read them immersively, because I was really trying to get an understanding of this book. Like, the book started off amazing. It started off with an incident where her runway show, I guess, was sabotaged. And then some supernatural things continued to happen throughout the book. However, I would say after like the first 2 chapters, it was literally like, okay, what is going on right now? So then it jumps from her to her cousin Fonzie and where he's from. To me, I just kind of felt like 30-40% of the book was just like character building and world building, and it really did not connect until the end, pretty much like the ending of the book. That's when it started to get good. However, had it been a page turner, the entire audio, I probably would have given it 4 stars, but I just didn't particularly like that. It was very slow paced. So that was the only reason why I gave it 3 stars. I just didn't like the irrelevant details, and it was too slow for me. Okay, so the next one is another art, which actually this book should be released right now as I'm filming this video. This one is called Blood in the Water. So I'm just show y'all a picture. So this one's called Blood in the Water. This one actually is middle grade. It's grade 7 to 12, but it doesn't matter what age you are, you can enjoy this book. This book was so good, y'all. Like, this book was so good. I'm thinking to myself, like, middle grade, what? So a little summary, it says Kaylani McKinnon is sent to spend the summer with some family friends at Martha's Vineyard. While there, she experiences loss of connection with her childhood friend, manipulation, and blaming. Kaylani doesn't feel like she belongs and wants to return home. When someone is killed in this town full of secrets, Kaylani puts her investigative skills to use. Was it really a shark or murder? So this book was so good, and I love how she was really focused on being a lawyer and really focused on getting her dad, this is not a spoiler, but she was really focused on learning the truth behind her dad's incarceration. So she ends up learning about her dad's incarceration by actually going to spend the summer with this family friend. And when I tell y'all, I was like, oh my gosh, it was so good. Like, y'all, I kid y'all not, I literally gave this a 5 star. It was definitely a page turner. And the only thing I did not like in this book was in the beginning, because London was like Kaylani's childhood friend. So because her family had money, she felt like, okay, now I can treat you any kind of way that I want. And y'all all know we have friends like that. So almost the whole book, she was just treating her like trash. And I literally was like, girl, if I wasn't grown, you would have a black eye. Because she was literally treating her like trash the entire time. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why are you treating her like this? But all I gotta say is go read it. I definitely gave that 5 star. It was amazing. Like, the ending, it literally blew my mind, and it really puts you into the perception, like, okay, you have to be really careful about who you trust, especially when it comes to money. And that's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to spoil it if you have not read it. So the next book, actually, I read 14 books. I'm gonna take that back, 14. I read The Mirror by Nora Roberts, and I love Nora Roberts as J.D. Robb. So J.D. Robb is Nora Roberts' pseudonym for her in this series. So I decided to actually read one of Nora Roberts' books by her real name, and I was sadly disappointed. I'm just gonna let y'all know that now. I literally, really, it deserves no rating, but I gave it 1 star for effort. But the book was not good at all. I literally listened to about 30% of the audio along with reading the book, and I was completely lost. I just didn't understand what was going on. It was a bunch of conversation. It was just basically like just a whole bunch of dialogue in the book, and I did not like that. And so we're actually going to skip that one. I'm not even going to go into telling y'all what that is actually about. So the next arc that I requested was Plus Size Player. I listened to this as an audio arc, and when I tell y'all, I was at work screaming, twirling around in my desk. I was beating on the desk. I was laughing. I was giggling because it was so good. Like, oh my gosh. So if y'all know nothing about Danielle Allen, I suggest, if y'all like romance novels, like real romance novels, like heartfelt romance novels, Plus Size Player is amazing. I love Danielle Allen. When I tell you all her books are good that I have read, they're all good. And I really love that she creates this body positivity within this series. So actually her next one is actually coming out next April. So we have to wait a whole nother year for her next book to come out, which will be the trilogy, basically. So if you have not read Curvy Girl Summer, I suggest you read Curvy Girl Summer first. This book is like the sequel. So this is about Nina Ford doesn't believe putting all her eggs in one basket. She juggles multiple jobs, hobbies, men, each one fulfilling a different need. But then she meets a guy named Russell, which is her fun guy. He starts showing signs that it may be more serious than just a good time. So Nina then finds herself getting everything she wants from one job and one man. But when all her eggs end up in one basket, something's bound to crack. Y'all, oh my gosh, I wish I could tell y'all about this book. This book was so good. Like, y'all, this book was so good. And another thing that I really love about the book is that she makes the men, you can definitely tell, you know, it's a black man, of course. She just has this positive perception of black men in her books, and I absolutely love that. I love the way that Russell treated Nina, like from the beginning to the end. I'm like, where are these kind of men? Like, can y'all write me a man like this? Like, Russell was amazing. He not only supported her, he loved her, he was there for her. I mean, he cherished her. Man, he literally threw rose petals at the ground she walked on. And he did not care about her weight. He did not care about her weight whatsoever. So I really love that, like that positive image of, you know, sometimes size doesn't matter to the right person. So the next book was Razorblade Tears, y'all. This book by S.A. Cosby was amazing. Amazing from beginning to end. This is actually my favorite book that he has written. So I've read All the Sinners Bleed, and I've also read King of Ashes. Razorblade Tears is literally by far the best one from beginning to end. Now, S.A. Cosby, he do tend to go on some rants in his books, but this one I kind of felt like he stayed on task for this one. So this one is about Ike Randolph and Buddy Lee have criminal past. When they learned their married sons were murdered in their home, they must use their criminal past to seek justice, but it comes with a lot of sacrificing. One thing I'm gonna tell y'all about Ike and Buddy Lee, they did not play. Okay, they did not come to play. They literally sacrificed their lives to find out what happened to their sons, because it really does show you how the justice system, sometimes with the LGBT or even with people of color, that crimes are committed and then they just go cold. They were kind of like, oh no, we're not going to let this rest, because every time they would ask or try to get updates about the case, it's like, okay, we have no leads. So literally they made their leads. You hear me? I mean, this book was so good. And also, one of the things that resonates with me is that sometimes when you do have children and they decide to come out, sometimes parents are not accepting. And I'm not saying that parents have to accept their lifestyle. It's just that they waited until something tragic happened to really be like, I really did love my child. You know, despite of them being homosexual or gay or lesbian or transgender, it's like, oh, I really did love my child, and now it's too late because they're dead. So you have to love your children in spite of whatever they're going through. So the next arc, I know y'all, I read a lot of arcs, right? So the next arc that I read was Rage by Linda Castillo. And if y'all have been on my channel for a couple videos, y'all know that I love Linda Castillo because she writes amazing Amish thrillers. So this book was about Chief Kate Burkholder investigating 2 murders in Painter's Mill. 21-year-old Samuel and his friend Aaron Shelter was found miles away in a barrel dumped in the ravine. Now Chief Kate Burkholder must uncover the dark and unsettling events that led to their brutal murders. So to be honest, y'all, I gave 5 star. I know y'all like, what? 5 star. 5 star, okay? 5 star because the book, amazing. That's all I'm gonna say, because all her books are so good. Like, all of Linda Castillo books are good. I just absolutely love them. She can do no wrong in my eyes. And y'all know we all have those comfort authors, and she's like one of my comfort authors. I know if I pick one of her books up, that right there, I know if I pick one of her books up, it's going to be good. It'll get me out of my reading slump. It's just a palate cleanser for me. So anytime I pick up any book from Linda Castillo or J.D. Robb, C.J. Box, Harlan Coben, I already know it's going to be really great. So I gave it a 5 star. One thing I do love that she uses like Amish language. I guess it's called like Philadelphia, what is it called? Philadelphia, like, it's Deitch or something. I don't know. But it's like she incorporates like a lot of the Amish culture and a lot of the language within her books, and it's just amazing, especially when you listen to the audio. It's just amazing to listen to, because to be honest with y'all, I didn't even know until I started reading her books that the Amish literally had their own language. It's like between I forgot the 2 languages that they blend together to make their own. But anyway, we could talk about that during another video. So of course I gave that 5 star. So the next art that I requested was King of Ashes. Was that an art? Yes, I requested King of Ashes. And when I tell y'all, I requested that as an audio arc. And at first I was kind of like, it's like, okay. It started off a little bit slow, but then as it progressed, I was like, oh yeah, this is really good. So Roman Carruthers returns home after his father's car crash that he later finds out wasn't an accident. Not only is his brother Dante in trouble, but puts the entire family at risk. Roman, being a sharp financial whiz, thinks he can buy Dante's way out of trouble. His sister Nevaeh's only concern is finding out what happened to their mother. But Roman and Dante are hiding a family secret. And y'all, when I tell y'all the family secret is secreting, the family secret is secreting. When Cosby reveals what happened to their mother, I was like, hold up. Oh my gosh. And it really kind of reveals the trauma that Dante was going through. Because literally in this book, Dante was acting like a child. He was literally acting ungrateful. He was basically stuck in his childhood trauma, which understands why a lot of his pain he just sought out with using substances. So he thought turning to like drinking and drugs basically would drown out the family secret that he was harboring for so long. And then also when Roman, which is the older brother, would tell him, okay, I need you to stay put, I need you to stay to the house, he was just disobedient. Like, bro, your brother is trying to get you out of trouble. And he just basically wouldn't listen. I literally wanted to like slap his brother a couple times. Like, will you listen to Roman? So literally the end, y'all, will blow your mind. When I say the ending was amazing, the ending was amazing. Money makes the world go round, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. So if y'all have not read any of S.A. Cosby's books, amazing mystery suspense thrillers, amazing, definitely a must read. It wasn't better than Razorblade Tears. It was close. It was like neck and neck. So I actually gave that one 4 stars. Okay, so the next arc that I requested was It Happened on the Lake by Lisa Jackson. I actually gave this one 5 stars. Usually when I read Lisa Jackson's books, I usually give them 4 stars because sometimes her books tend to just like ramble. Like they just, it's like so many, it just, y'all, it's just like, it's just, she reminds me, if y'all have ever read Chevy Stevens, she kind of reminds me of Chevy Stevens, the way that she structures her books. So she goes from retrospect to present, retrospect to present. And then in the end, it all starts to combine. Like, it's like, oh, okay. Like, it's like, oh, okay. Now I get it. Chevy Stevens, another amazing thriller writer. Amazing. But, so this book was about Harper Prescott owns a large old house on Lake Twilight in the private island it sits on. However, she is not sure if she wants to keep it or sell it. 20 years ago, her boyfriend Chase went missing and her grandmother died in the same night. Now that her marriage is over, Harper returns to Lake Twilight where secrets unravel. Memories resurface and strange things are happening. And y'all, when I tell y'all the person, what you think happened to her grandmother did not naturally happen to her grandmother. The person that I literally, Lisa Jackson had me thinking everyone was the killer. Like Lisa Jackson literally had me thinking everyone was guilty. Everyone was guilty. And then in the end, when this person is revealed, you're like, hold on. This person was not even nowhere near in the book like that. Like, how could this person have been it? Y'all, it be your own family. It be your own family. And that's all I'm gonna say. This was actually a 5-star for me. I absolutely loved it because I could not stop, literally, I could not stop reading this. Because I'm literally thinking, I have got to figure out what happened to Chase. Like, literally, I literally had to just keep reading because I needed to figure out what happened to this boy. And when y'all find out what happened to the boy and when they actually find the body, I was shocked. I was shocked. 5-star, read it. Okay, so the next art that I requested was Grey Dawn by Walter Mosley. No. I know some people love Walter Mosley. I'm not saying he's not a great writer. This book just was not for me. It was literally like a watered down S.A. Cosby. This particular book. So I'm going to actually have to read a couple of his other books to just kind of get a feel of like his writing style. This book just was not it for me. I gave this a 1-star because I did like some parts how so basically Easy Rawlins, he's like a detective. He's looking for a lady named Letitia, which ends up being his baby mama, because back in the day they known her as Anger, and then the boy that actually came into the detective office wasn't really her son. No, wasn't really her aunt. No. Y'all, this book, see what I'm saying? Confusing. Like, literally, this book was all over the place. It was multiple plots. It was multiple storylines. I was like, no. Just, I literally suffered through reading this. It was not even entertaining. It was just like, Y'all, next. I just wouldn't recommend that. So if you are wanting to read a Walter Mosley book, definitely don't read that one first. I just could not get into that. You can read it if you want to. I think that book actually comes out in October, but I just didn't like that. So the next arc that I read was Framed in Death, and y'all know I love JD Robb. I gave that a 5-star. So basically this artist who has basically been rejected out of this like artistry world starts, basically they call them, what did they call them in the book? I don't know. They called them, oh my gosh, there's a name that they called them LCs in the book, license something. Anyway, but basically like they were like streetwalkers. But they called them something else in the book, I guess to make it a little bit more appropriate and more respectful. So basically he would get these women off the street and he would just basically give them money. They would go with him up to his like apartment and he would drug them and then strangle them, like kill them, and then he would paint them. So basically all this was about getting people to see that he was a great painter. I'm like, and then the crazy thing is there were people in his life who continued to enable the behavior because they had the money, and it just was like, we can just make the problem go away. It's like, no, you cannot make the problem go away. This child is, well, he's not a child, but he's literally killing women from the street and men and painting them. And what he was doing was he was using like historical paintings and recreating them. Basically, 5-star, hands down. Loved it, loved every bit of it. So now the next book, this is not an audio arc or a e-arc. This is called If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. So this is a plus size romance, and it was really clean. It was really respectful. I absolutely loved it. So basically, Cindy, she loves shoes, and she was just fresh out of design school, but she didn't have a job, so she ended up moving back home with her stepmother. Her mother died when she was like 10, and her father died in like, I think a car accident when she was in high school. I think when she was in high school. So her mother's friend, so her stepmother is like a producer of this like bachelor show, and one of the assistants thinks it's a good idea for Cindy to go on this show. However, she did not realize that the guy that she met on the plane actually ended up being the bachelor on the show. And y'all, when I tell y'all, it was such a cute romance. Like, oh my gosh, it was so cute. After this book, I went to go see like if she had any other books that she had written. Like, this one was really cute. Cindy was basically plus size, right? And y'all know that plus size women, we're just not accepted into society. Like, we have to make our own way. So he was, you know, regular size, but he liked her from the plane. And it's so crazy because when he ended up seeing her at the show, he's like, what are you doing here? You know? And it's just, he was so respectful. He was like, oh, he was such a Prince Charming, y'all. He was respectful. He was supportive. He genuinely liked her. I mean, he literally, y'all, it was so good. I definitely gave this a 5-star. This is definitely a really cute romance, and it was clean, and it was actually no kind of open door scenes or anything in the book. They probably kissed a couple times, but that was pretty much it. It was like a really clean romance, and I really, really liked that. So before I let go, y'all, I gotta do a whole video on that book. That, I have no words. I'm speechless. The book was so good. That's my first Kennedy writing book I've ever read. And when I tell y'all I'm blown away, I've been on Amazon looking for all of her novels. when I find great authors, especially when it comes to romance, because I'm not a romance girl, I have to get it. So this book was about Yasmin. Okay, so I'm just read you the summary. So Yasmin wasn't prepared for how her life fell apart, but she's finally starting to find joy again. She and Josiah have found a new rhythm, co-parented their 2 kids, and running a thriving business together. Yet, like magnets, they're always drawn back to each other, and now they're beginning to wonder if they're truly ready to let go of everything they once had. Y'all, when I tell you, I absolutely love this book, and I think one of the most pivotal moments for me was when Josiah felt like, I don't need counseling because it doesn't work. And when that therapist, I think his name was Dr. Musa, the therapist, I think, was the GOAT for me in this book. Because even though Josiah felt like therapy didn't work, he still continued to go to Dr. Musa, and Dr. Musa didn't pressure him. When I say, I was literally trying to figure out what therapeutic style his counselor was using. Like, is it CBT? Is it solution focused? Is it structural family therapy? I think it was like a combination of all the things. And the thing about a good therapist is that they will guide you because you already have the answer. The therapist guides you into saying the answer. Like, it's crazy because we have the answers within us. It's just guided discovery. It's like, you already know what to do. Now you need to follow up on it. But I'm going to give you the tools to how to follow up on this. So I absolutely loved the therapist in there. They taught them about themselves and how to communicate and how to express their thoughts and feelings with each other. And I also love how Yasmin and Josiah really kind of, but mostly the mom, she just kind of refrained with her son, Kasim, that sometimes people need help and sometimes people have to get help from others, because he was kind of looking at therapy like, my dad ain't going. But then when his dad, for accountability purpose, I'll go with you, even though we're going to see separate therapists. Then his son was more open to like, okay, if you're going to go get help, then I'll go. Like, I absolutely loved it. I just love the co-parenting relationship that they had. Like, y'all. Oh my gosh. Like, the book was so good. Y'all. The book was so good. I'm telling y'all, if you have not read this is actually the first book in the Skyland series. If you have not read this, read this book. Now, if you don't like books that are like open door, don't read this book. I'm just letting you know, because there are some scenes. And so, I mean, but anyway. So that is actually going to have to be a video I kind of discuss outside of this video. So the next arc that I chose, so like I said, I did read a lot of arcs and listen to a lot of arcs last month. So this particular arc was called The Laughing Dead by Jess Laurie. This book was about a cold case investigator, Evangeline. She's pulled into a murder. She's pulled into a new murder that are kind of like the murders that happened from the 1980s that was dubbed The Laughing Dead, where teenage victims were discovered with twisted, frozen smiles. When Van's own police ID turns up the latest crime scene, she suddenly finds herself the main suspect. Okay, so this book was so long. It was like 100 chapters. And the storyline was amazing. But I think that I really needed to read along with the audio, because it was so many details in the book. Y'all, after a while, after about chapter 87, I was like, I'm so confused right now. What is going on? Like, it was so much. it's like the story was actually great. The narrator was amazing. Like literally, if I think I had the physical copy of this, I think I would have rated it a better, I think I would have given it a better rating than a 2-star. So the 2-star is for really good plot, really good character development. The storyline was great, but it was way too many details. I just felt like it was a way too many like storylines in this book. Y'all, I promise y'all, it was like 100 chapters in this book. Even though they were like short, it was like every 10 chapters, it was like a different problem. Y'all, I was so confused, but it was good. So really what I think I want to do, I actually think I want to just get this, see if I can get the ebook and just read this, or maybe I can check this out from the library through Libby or Hoopla or something and just actually just reread this, because I really want to give that a fair reading. Okay, whew, y'all, I'm so tired. Okay, the 14th book is called One of Us is Lying. The reason why I finished that, it took me a whole month to finish that, because I was trying to read this along with the children at my job, because I had this book. So we're doing like a book club, and the tutor that teaches reading, she wanted to do a book club with our youth at the group home that I work at. But y'all already know, it only take me like 2-3 days to really read a book. And I was really trying to keep up with them. But the thing is, they're not really avid readers. We're trying to get them to increase their reading comprehension. And y'all, it was literally taking them like 2 weeks to read 11 chapters. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh my gosh. So then what they started doing was they're like, oh, we just gonna go look at the movie. And I'm like, no, that defeats the purpose of y'all increasing your reading fluency. I'm just like, and then even some of the adults that were participating with the children were like, oh yeah, we can just go look at the movie. And I'm like, no, what is the point of having a book if you just gonna go look at the movie? No. If I told them I'm reading the book, because if I go look at the movie, I'm not gonna read. That makes no sense. So anyway, so One of Us is Lying is about 5 students from Bayville High School. They all walk into detention, but one of them does not come out. What happened? Could one of the other 4 be the killer? So this book was actually, it was between slow and medium pace. So the person that I thought was the killer really wasn't the killer. When I say, I was like, hold on, what? So I'm gonna tell y'all what I didn't like about this book. So what I didn't like about this book was that even though the author may have tried to bring some positive light on youth coming out, basically being gay or lesbian, is basically like the author kind of made coming out being like a negative thing. So Cooper, this is a spoiler. So basically, what was this child's name? The one who died. Y'all, I forgot the name because the book is over there. So like when I was in high school, they used to have something called a hit list. The kid that died had like this blog where he would basically blast everybody's business. So then Cooper was like, all of the youth were on there, but Cooper basically ended up telling his father, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell my father, because he had a girlfriend and he was actually dating, what is that girl's name? Some girl. He was actually dating one of the girls, and he ended up breaking up with her. And he was basically telling her, it's not you, of course. So then he ends up just coming forward to his father, just letting his father know that he was gay. But so that was going to be on the blog about Cooper actually not really liking girls. He actually liked boys. So the author kind of just made it like a taboo, almost like we were back in the 1850s. As in, you couldn't readily just come out and say, hey, I'm like this. So yes, we do have some parents who are not accepting because they don't want to accept that their children have chosen like an alternative lifestyle. Okay, so I'm actually going to read my review. So because the way I'm trying to explain it, the way I want to explain it may not come out right, but I'm actually just going to read my review for what I kind of like and didn't like about the book. So one of the characters that I wanted to highlight was Nate. He was one of the characters that I was able to connect with. He was the black sheep out of the group, and even though he may have had good intentions for his life, people wouldn't allow his past to be just that. So Nate dealt with a lot of I would say he just dealt with a lot of stigmatization because of his past. So it's pretty much everyone looked at him like, oh, because your past was so negative, it has to be you. And but I ain't gonna tell y'all. So my thoughts was, I really loved the storyline and the development of the characters were great. I love how the author really made everyone seem as if they were guilty. I also loved how their past and hidden secrets were the motivation for the real killer. I listened to this on audio as well, and immersive reading made this book so much better. It really did. On the other hand, I did not like the coming out in regard to Cooper. Hiding his sexuality has a negative connotation within the book, highlighting a negative societal perception for those that are in the closet. I don't think using this information should have been highlighted as something negative for Cooper. However, I also realized that being attracted to the same sex can and could be a taboo for those who are not in agreement with that lifestyle, which was why Cooper's parents reacted the way they had. Overall, it was a really good book. So I did give it a 3-star. It was just a little slow for me, but I ended up enjoying it still. I do have the other 4 books that I probably will read, the rest of the year, but not like behind each other. But anyway, so that is 14 books for the month of June. So let me know in the comments how your month of June looked, how many books you read. Let me know what your favorite genre of books are, and also let me know, out of all the books that I talked about, which one do you think that you would read? So if you stay to the end of the video, hopefully you did, give me a green heart in the comments. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.